What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Matty B. Welcome back to the channel and thank y'all for tuning in. As always, really appreciate each and every one of you. For today's video, we're going to do a preview for round 14 at AMA Supercross that's heading to Cleveland this weekend for the first time since NAM. Going to knock some cobwebs off at the National, but for this week's video, we're going to dive into some of the beef this week between a member of the media and Eli Tomac and another one of Beast Mode's iconic Twitter replies. We'll talk about the oddly low entries we've had in Supercross this year, the lowest I've ever seen actually. Then we'll get into a rider that could be returning to action for the final few Supercrosses, a quick rundown of the points in both classes, the possibility of a mud triple crown with some potential rain in the contract, and of course, as always, the track breakdown, track preview, the MX Simulator virtual POV lap, and my predictions for this weekend's race in Cleveland. But you guys know the deal. Before we get into all that stuff, gotta give a huge thank you and a shout out to my channel sponsors. They're the ones who make all these videos possible, so please do me a favor and go check them out. Huge thanks to ASV Inventions, home of the unbreakable lever. If you lose talent too often on the bike like myself and you crash, bend up levers all the time, then definitely check out ASV. They can solve that for you. And then huge thank you to Sirius Studio. They can take care of all your merch needs, hats, shirts, you name it, they got it. And huge thank you to the designlabco.com. They got some great designs in their lab at their co. And if you need anything graphic related, then look no further. I have links and discount codes and all that fun stuff in my video description, and if you guys buy from them, a small portion of the sale goes to me to help keep the channel going, so if you guys buy from them, you are literally supporting me. Hope you enjoy the video. Alright, first topic for today's video is a bit of a fun one for me. It's the Eli Tomac versus Lewis Phillips media beef. I had to grab my popcorn immediately because this is so entertaining to me to see a guy that's usually so reserved going after members of the media on Twitter like Lewis or Steve Mathis. And I think my favorite part of the whole thing might even be the hashtags. He went with hashtag you're a hack to Lewis, and he berated Mathis last year about not liking fireworks. And he hit him with the hashtag skipped redbud since Mathis had just missed a race. There was even another one where he replied to somebody that ended with hashtag I'm on the dozer, and I'm here for all that stuff, but I'm also kind of hoping I'm not next. I don't even remember what Mathis said to piss Eli off, but in this recent case of vegan repellent, also known as beef, Tomac responded to a tweet where somebody had asked Lewis if he got any of the post-race scoops on ET's race, and Lewis replied with answering no and saying that Eli barely even spoke to KTM. That obviously fired Eli up because he doesn't do this very often, but when he does, he makes it count. But he came back with telling Lewis that he was spewing absolute garbage and that they all debriefed after the race. He even let Lewis know that he has, quote, zero credibility with that statement, and don't forget he ended it with hashtag you're a hack. This is one that maybe we should have seen coming at some point because Lewis has talked about the scoop tire being Eli's, quote, emotional support tire, and he's made some other jokes like that at Eli's expense, and pretty much in general, Lewis can pretty often flirt with the edge of going too far with some of the lines of questioning to riders. But in my opinion, that's what makes Lewis so good at what he does. He's not scared of getting a bad answer or getting called a hack, and at the end of the day, he's one of the best in the business getting riders to open up and going in depth in interviews. I'm not trying to sit here and glaze him like he glazes Chase Sexton, but I do think he does great work, and I really doubt this little spat with Tomac is going to change that. If anything, it seems like the two victims, if you want to call them that, and Lewis and Steve Mathis, are kind of just joking about this and thinking it's funny. The Tomac, Lewis Phillips, Vital MX interviews might not be coming into our contract anytime soon, but I'm staying tuned for the next time Eli is on the dozer, someone skips redbud, or if somebody's a hack. It seemed like Eli is just an emotionless robot for so many years, and for me, this is honestly a pretty welcome change. I'm super entertained by watching him fire back at media people he doesn't agree with, and it's just nice to see some personality out of the guy. Maybe this will be what fires him up to turn it around next weekend. Stay tuned. If Tomac does way better this weekend, then I'm going to start talking a ton of crap about him too, just to get him fired up, because I want to see the return of beast mode without a choice. Alright, our next topic is going to start with a question, and that question is, what in the hell is going on with the low entry numbers in Supercross this year? Is there something I'm missing? I mean, I know gas has gone up big time now with the war and all that, but this has been a problem for the whole season, starting on the West Coast at the beginning of the year. Usually in the 450 class, we see rider entry numbers at least in the 50s and maybe the high 40s when injuries pile up, but this year they seem to start in the mid 40s, and there's been a handful of rounds where everybody or almost everybody's made the night show in the 450 class because there's less than 40 guys. I was even thinking about grabbing a 450 and hitting the Supercross night show myself, but then I remembered I'm a mega loose unit and you can't award points to a dude at his funeral, so I'm actually going to pass on that one, but more power to the gladiators that are showing up. I don't envy you at all, but then in the 250 class, the West Coast is always a little bit lower on the numbers than the East Coast, and I have memories of the East Coast opening races filling up with entries in the low to mid 60s. But this year, the East Coast opener started at 52 entries, and the numbers have gone down a little bit with each round and injury. There's really nothing you can do about the injuries, whether you try to fix it with 9 whoops or supplying everybody with bubble wrap. Nothing's going to work, and the entries are going to thin out. It's a guarantee, along with death, taxes, and Vince Freese taking somebody out. but it just seems like this year the entries have very abruptly taken a downward turn, and I have no idea why. I think the numbers are a little bit lower than they were back in the day because it's harder to get a Supercross license now than it ever was back then, which is probably a good thing because the C practice used to be way sketchier than kindergarten artwork, but now the numbers are even lower than the low numbers. Feel free to speculate in the comments. I have no idea what the reason for this could be, but hopefully it's just an off year and we can get back to having the races filled up for next year. Or if you're one of these guys that doesn't really like the privateers and all these backmarker guys, Gypsy, then maybe they're on the right track with these low entries. And I'm just giving you a hard time, Gypsy. I dig your content too, and I listen to it all the time. I just have love for the privateers. It's who I am. Last week I did an injury update video where I talked about some of the riders that I thought would be out of racing action until the start of Pro Motocross, and one of the riders I talked about was Ducati's Justin Barcia. All the videos I've seen of Bam Bam riding have been on outdoors. When I was in SoCal, I saw him burning laps outdoors, and I pretty much just made an ass out of you and me and assumed that he was going to be out for the rest of Supercross and was going to return at the Pro Motocross opener. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. It seems like I might have been a fake news idiot because right after I made that video, I saw the first video in months of Barcia riding Supercross, and I believe it was Steve Mathis that reported that Justin's eyeing up a return for the final few rounds of Supercross. And while I'm not happy that I went rogue fake news invitational on you guys, I'll be very happy if I was wrong about Barcia not returning to Supercross. The sport is always better when more good guys are in it, and I would love to see what Barcia and the Ducati have to offer in Supercross this year. He didn't really get much of a chance yet, so it would definitely be rad to see that come to fruition. In the little bit of time that we saw him on at A1, I thought he looked really good on the Ducati with incredibly limited offseason prep coming off an injury, and I've been quietly impressed with Ducati in general all season. For their first year jumping into Supercross in the 450 class, I honestly think Ducati's done about all you can ask of him this year. Ferrandis has been finishing about where I think he'd finish on any other bike, and he just got a top 5 on it in Nashville before getting docked. Even in some of the gnarliest swoop sections of the year, Ferrandis has typically been one of the last of the Mohicans that still skims and stays away from the jump line. Ducati's been sick, and getting Barcia back in Supercross would be sick too. Let's hope it happens. And last topic before we get into a look at the points and the track preview and all that fun stuff is the weather, and it's looking a little bit less than promising at the moment. Honestly, it could be worse. Leading up to the event is almost no rain, so hopefully we should be good for press day, which is my bread and butter for content, so let's hope it buffs out for Friday. But then for race day, there's a few pockets of chances of rain in the forecast, with some of the biggest ones being right about when the gates are going to drop for the Triple Crown motos. And this would be something that we've never seen before. A mud Triple Crown would kind of be a disaster. Triple Crowns are already a quick turnaround with a lot going on at a dry race. Doing it in the mud would be next to impossible, depending on if it was a true Gnarls Barkley mudder or not. I'm almost wondering if it rained enough if they wouldn't have to reconsider the format, maybe just run it like normal. That's a totally uneducated question I just posed there. I don't even know if that would be possible, but a mud Triple Crown would be mental for all involved. As of now, on Thursday, it says the total rainfall for Saturday is almost 0.4 inches, and the SMX track crew are insane at working miracles when it rains in the days leading up to the event, but if it rains during the actual race, then there's not really a whole lot they can do about it besides flattening some spots. They can't exactly go out there and dry it, so this could get really interesting. And I haven't even said anything about this, but I'm going to be in attendance as well, so hopefully it doesn't rain too much or at all, because the almighty iPhone's kryptonite is the touchscreen in the rain. Hopefully I don't get boned. And then real quick, before we get into the track preview and the track breakdown, we're just going to do a quick rundown through the points in the 450 class and the 250E series. We've never really done this in one of these videos, but I figured it'd be nice just to get a quick overview. But in the 250 class, obviously it's Cole Davies on top. He's been dominant. He's got Hammaker 19 points back, so Cole could be setting himself up to wrap this thing up one round early if he keeps up these wins. But Hammaker's second, 19 back. Then we got Dax Bennick, 40 points back in third. Great season for Dax, really getting the consistency down this year. And then Shock is fourth, 58 down, with Shimoda fifth. He's 61 down, but he's out for the season, with Thrasher 6th and Simonson 7th. And Thrasher and Simonson have been coming on strong, so Shimoda's out of the picture, but Shock's going to have to worry about a battle for 4th on his hands if he's not careful. But then the rest of the top 10, 8th is Henry Miller, 9th is Pierce Brown, and 10th is Nick Romano, but Pierce Brown's out, so he's going to have guys like Derek Kelly and Kyle Peters knocking on the door for that top 10 in points. Then in the 450 class, it's Hunter Lawrence on top. He stretched that lead out to 10 points over Ken Roxon in Nashville. Then we got Eli Tomac third, a whopping 15 points down after being tied coming into Nashville. A bad race like that will always do you in when your rival wins, but then we got Webb fourth. He's 28 points down. J. Coop fifth, minus 57. Then 6 through 10, we got Sexton, even though he missed some rounds. Joey Savacci, even though he missed some rounds. Malcolm Stewart 8th, even though he's absolutely thrashed himself on several occasions this year. Jorge Prado 9th in an insanely improved season. And then rounding out the top 10, we got Justin Hill shadowboxing his way to a top 10 in points. But right on the outside looking in is Dylan Ferrandis. He's trying to get that Ducati into the top 10. And yeah, we got 4 rounds to go. A lot of battles deep in the points. Some that these guys might care about and some that may not. But I'm here for all of them. And man, this thing's coming down to the wire. Now we'll get into our track preview and our track breakdown for round 14 this weekend in Cleveland for the Triple Crown. We got a decent track layout this weekend, a little bit of everything, a couple of rhythm sections, of course a whoop section. We got even a little unique off-camber section before the finish line, and yeah, the lanes are a little bit on the shorter side. I don't know how big this stadium is, but either way, I think we're set for a banger, but we got the start, you guessed it, right down the middle, just like always. That puts you into a nice sweeping left-hander for the first corner, but a flat sweeper puts you into your first short rhythm section on the track. I'm thinking right off the start, it's just going to be a double triple. If you can fight off locking bars at the National, but then you're into your first 180 bull corner on the track. This one to the right, and then right out of that corner, you get a 353 seat bounce triple, and I can see this one being pretty technical for the 250s. We're going to be in Ohio, and I feel like the dirt should be reasonably soft and rutted, and I'm sure that jump face is going to get chewed up too. So definitely stay tuned for the 250 guys struggling to seat bounce that. But then you got your basic Supercross triple. We'll see if they change it to a double like they have been for most of the rest of the season. But then you got your first of 290s to the right. You got a small rhythm section. I'm thinking it'll be either a 2-3-1 or maybe a 3-3 if you go to that outside berm. But the problem with these 90s is it's just way too easy to stick to that inside and stay defensive and then go 2-3-1 and then probably go inside again in that second 90. So hopefully we see him build something to where it would really reward going wide and going triple, but I have a feeling you're probably going to see inside at 2-3-1 and then inside again. Then you're into your longest rhythm on the track. We should see a few options through here, but I'm thinking a couple of them should probably be double in, triple, then tabletop over the 2 singles. Maybe it's a quad, maybe it's not. Argue about it in the comments, and then a double out. Maybe if you could triple in, you could go triple onto the tabletop, and then step off, triple one more time. Or maybe you would double in, triple, and then table over single and triple out. I'm sure we'll see tons of combos. I always love these long rhythm sections because you see them done in so many different ways. But then you're into another 180 bull corner to the right, and then we got our loop section. Probably only going to be 9 of them. Maybe we'll get lucky and get 10. I don't know, but yeah, with this being an East Coast track, I really could see these things getting very chewed up, and maybe they'll turn into jumpers. Hopefully the fast guys will still be rewarded for the skim, but right out of the whoops, then you got a little pop double, a 180 bull corner to the left, and then you're backwards down the start straight, get through the gears, then on the binders, because right into this last corner, you got a little check double. And you can do this section one of 2 ways. You can either not jump this double, stay tight and creep around the inside, drop back down, and then hit the table over single and single into the finish line. Or you can double into the corner, rail around the outside of the berm, and then step on, step off, and then single into the finish line. Hopefully those 2 options are pretty similar. It would be really cool to see 2 distinct different lines used right before the finish line. We could see some cool finishes that way, but then we got our finish line, basic yacht, and then you're back across the first corner. 1 final bull corner to the left, and then out of that corner, you got a jump face. So maybe you'll hit that and jump across the first corner and into the first rhythm section. But if you do that, I think you would double across and then triple, then double, or maybe double, then triple. You'd have to jump over a 5-footer to do that triple and then double. So that could be pretty technical and something to watch out for too. But that's a lap around Cleveland for round 14. Now let's see what it looks like virtually with the MX Simulator POV lap. And then last but not least, my predictions for this weekend for round 14 going down this weekend in Cleveland for the Triple Crown. And in the 250 class, I just can't bet against Cole Davies. I've got him for the win. He's been the best guy all season in pretty much every category. The guy who I've got second, Seth Hamaker, he has topped him in time qualifying a couple times, but when the gate drops, it's been all Cole Davies almost every time. So I got Davies for the win. I got Hamaker right behind him in the runner-up spot. I think he's definitely the class of the field besides Cole Davies. He's got everybody else covered, and he's been sending it to try to keep up with Cole, but it just hasn't quite happened the last few weeks. So I've got Davies 1, Hamaker 2, and I'm going to go with a repeat podium for Devin Simonson, but this isn't going to be a gimme podium where somebody gets a penalty. I think he's going to get a real one this time. The whole podium experience, popping champagne, all that stuff. I think he's going 2 in a row. At the beginning of the season, we were kind of joking about him sniffing box, and now we got on the box, so I'm going to go with Simonson for another podium. Then in the 450 class, I'm going with another win for Hunter Lawrence. I just feel like this thing's all coming together for him. Maybe that jammed wrist is feeling a little better, and he's just got all the momentum. He's doing everything right, and I feel like he gets another win. Then I got Ken Roczen in second. I think he more than likely wins at least one of the Triple Crown mains, but it just seems like at these Triple Crowns, he's always had one issue that's just taken him out of the winning contention. So I've got Hunter 1, Roczen 2, and then I'm really hoping for an Eli Tomac rebound in the 3 spot. That's what I'm going to predict, but I'm feeling a little bit shaky about it. So, yeah, not really sure what to expect, but hopefully Tomac can at least bounce back and find himself on the box because it's already almost over. And if he's not on the box this weekend, then you can pretty much kiss those championship hopes goodbye. But, yeah, those are my top 3 predictions in both classes. And that's all I got for you guys in today's video. As always, please let me know in the comments what you thought of the video, if you liked it, if you disliked it, if you agree with my takes, if you disagree, if I'm just a cooked unit idiot, if my videos suck. If you want to throw anything like that my way, I can handle it, let it fly. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys again. Really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, free of choice.